advice of the lawyer, the state lawyer that was appointed for me. And it went down to 4 years and then to 3 years. I was there for 8 months.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so you were in a Japanese prison for 3 years. What was that like? I mean, what was going through your mind? What was it like for your husband and your daughters? Talk about that.
It was a very difficult time.
Of course.
Being in a foreign country, I didn't, speak the language. And Japanese prisons are more like an army training, like at least for if I compare with my country from where I come from, which is Lesotho. And it was really difficult. We couldn't look at each other. We had to live by commands, stand when you're told to stand, sit when you're told to sit, speak when you're told to speak, go to the bathroom when you're told to. And even with, I stayed in a single room, and the bathroom was right there where the officers could see as they passed. There was just a wall that was this size, and they could see from there upwards. So there was no privacy.
Wow.
And the most difficult thing was I couldn't call my family. I couldn't call my husband, nor my children. We could only communicate through letters.
Wow.
And the letters took really a long time, to come to me and to get to them. But it was such, in a messed up way, the best time of my life, because I got to know, who God is and who I am in Him.
Yes.
And somehow, I think I found myself, because when I was first arrested, I felt like I was going to die. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to think about my children, my husband, everything that was going on. But in those 3 years, I learned that my life is in the hands of the Lord. And His love, His acceptance, they mean much more than everything else. And I think that's where I got the meaning of life and the purpose that maybe I came for in this world.
Wow, I see the tears on your eyes, and I know you've experienced the love of God even during suffering. Well, you left Japan after 3 years, and you were reunited with your family. How was that?
It was amazing. I got to Johannesburg at Tambo, and I was supposed to call my husband. But because I was so much used to living by commands, I didn't know how to do that. So I couldn't call him. I went to Maseru. When I got to Maseru, there was nobody at the airport to pick me up. I got on a shuttle and then went to my place. When I got to the door, I knocked and there was no response. I kept knocking until he came to the door, and when he opened, there I was standing, and he just looked at me and said, Jesus. Wow. Jesus. And then we start crying. The children came and they made noise. I'm like, don't make noise. Let's just go inside. So we got inside the room and we talked, we laughed, we hugged. It was such an amazing time.
Of course, of course. Well, moving forward, now you are working for the Beautiful Dream Society, and you are working with human trafficking victims and trying to prevent human trafficking from even happening. Talk about your work with them. How did you even become a part of the Beautiful Dream Society?
So I went back home in 2012, and from 2012, when I got back home, I made a decision that I would just go on TV or newspapers, just get word out there, because I hadn't had anybody talk about human trafficking. So I thought I would tell people, I'll share my story so that people are aware. And then I kept getting calls that you should, connect with Beautiful Dream Society, and I didn't know Beautiful Dream Society. So I think until 2017, people have been trying to connect me with them, but
really?
It just didn't work for some reason. And then sometime in 2017, I get a call, and it was a lady that was working there. She was like, can we meet? And I went, we met, and then I started volunteering in 2017 at Beautiful Dream Society. In 2018, they hired me as an awareness coordinator.
Wow.
And then in 2020, I was hired I was promoted to be the director of the organization. So basically it's just, something that God has placed in my heart to go out there and help the women and girls that have been trafficked. And for me, it's not just about the numbers. It's not about the tragedy. It's very personal because I can relate and I can identify with what they are going through.